Hi, my name's Aaliyah and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a book recommendations video, but it's going to be a little rapid fire because I gotta go to class. So today we're talking about cozy ghost book recommendations. So I have a little list of books that I wanted to share with you today. So the first one I wanted to talk about is the Lockwood and Co series. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I talk about this series all the time. It's one of my absolute favorites. This is a cozy ghost series about this group of kids who are basically ghost hunters, and they live in London where there's a big ghost epidemic going on and there's lots of hauntings. So they basically work as a little independent agency, and they go and help people and they go to their houses and eradicate ghosts and things like that. And it's very funny, and there's also a talking skull in it who's really snarky. There's lots of banter. There's also like a little found family element. So that's the first one I recommend. One of my favorite series, perfect for this time of year. You should go read those if you haven't already. And then the next one I wanted to tell you about is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. So this is another kind of middle grade cozy ghost series, and this follows a young girl and her parents are actually filming like a ghost TV show, but they don't actually believe in ghosts, which is ironic because they don't realize that their daughter can actually see ghosts and talk to ghosts. So this is about this young girl, and she has a best friend who's a ghost, and her parents end up moving to Edinburgh for a little while so that they can film a new episode of their TV show. And while she's there, she ends up running into a bunch of ghosts, and she kind of makes a new friend with another girl, and things kind of go from there. So it's very interesting and sweet. It's about basically haunted Edinburgh. So if that interests you, I recommend this one. And then another cozy mystery I wanted to tell you about is The House on Vesper Sands. So you've probably heard me talk about this before. This is perfect for the wintry season. This is set in London in the winter, and it's basically a murder mystery. People are starting to die, and this investigator and this young man named Bliss have to kind of team up to solve the murders. And there's also women going missing, so they're trying to figure out if the murders and the disappearances are like connected or not. So yes, this is one of my favorite books of the year so far, so I definitely recommend this if you're looking for like a cozy murder mystery to pick up during the winter season. Then another one I want to tell you about that you've heard me talk about before is Summer Suns by Lee Mandello. So this one doesn't really have the wintry vibes because it's set in the summer in the South, but it is very like spooky. It has a lot of fun ghosts in it. It also kind of has like a little found family element. This is adult, and it's categorized on Goodreads as being a horror, but it's really not like super gory horror. It's more like paranormal. And so we follow this guy. Sorry, my nose is itchy. We follow this guy named Andrew, and he finds out that his friend who just went off to university a few months ago has recently committed suicide, but Andrew doesn't believe it's a suicide, so he moves to this college town and starts attending the university that his friend went to and tries to figure out what led up to his friend's death. Was it actually a suicide? Are there more sinister things going on? He kind of gets into the academia setting there and realizes that maybe it's not what it seems to be from the outside. So this is a very good one. It's also got a male-male romance going on. It's very queer. There's also like a polyamorous relationship in this. There's also alcohol use and drug use and car racing. So yeah, definitely lots of adult stuff going on in here, but I really liked the paranormal aspects of this, and I thought it was really good, so I recommend that one. And then another one I want to tell you about is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So I read this at the end of, was it 2020? I think it was like spring of 2020, and I really enjoyed this. So this is another dark academia ghost novel, and so we follow this girl who kind of has a traumatic past, and she ends up getting in with this secret society at a university, and in this society they kind of are in charge of keeping the other secret societies in line, and the secret societies do these weird rituals where they kind of like attract ghosts and stuff. So her job is to make sure that the ghosts don't hurt anybody or interfere with things, and the story kind of goes from there. So she can see ghosts, and there's a lot of like suspicious paranormal stuff going on at this university, and there's also some murders that happen that she's trying to solve. She's trying to figure out who's good and who's trying to hurt people and what is going on. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I gave this 5 stars, and I was not expecting to. So I definitely recommend this one if you're looking for kind of a interesting ghost book that's set in an academia setting. And then another one I want to tell you about is The Second Best Haunted Hotel on Mercer Street. So I've talked briefly about this before. It's a middle grade novel about this girl who lives in a haunted hotel, and the ghosts in this one are really sweet. So it's more like Casper. It's not like a creepy hotel. And this also has little illustrations in it. It's really cute. So she lives with her father in this hotel, and they own it. And her mom recently passed away, and her mom has kind of come back as a ghost and is kind of haunting the hotel. But her mom's ghost is not like all there. She's like really emotional, and she's not like super friendly and stuff like the other ghosts are. So part of the story is about grief, and it's about this girl kind of getting her family back together, and it's about the ghosts kind of taking care of her in her time of need. And it is also a story about friendship. She ends up making friends with this other girl, and she's also trying to save the hotel that she lives in because it's not doing very well financially. And so there's also a whole other like plot about that. But I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really sweet and really fun, and I really liked the like found family element with the ghosts and stuff. So I definitely recommend this one if you are looking for a cozy middle grade ghost story to pick up during winter season. And then another one I want to tell you about is Everlost by Neil Shusterman. So this is by the author who wrote the Scythe trilogy, but this is the first one in his middle grade ghost trilogy. So this is kind of a older title, but I read this earlier this year and I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. So we follow these 2 kids named Allie and Nick, and right at the beginning they both get in a car accident, and they die. It's not a spoiler, that happens on like page 1. And so they die, and their ghosts end up going to this place called Everlost, which is kind of like an in-between. So usually ghosts go there if they have like unfinished business or something, and usually it's only kids who end up there. So they kind of discover that there's this whole like ghost world that's all kids, and there's also like different locations in this world that only they can see. So there's different like buildings and stuff where tragic things have happened and stuff like that. And the kids all kind of have to work together to figure out if there's a way out of Everlost, and they're trying to just figure out like how to survive there. And there's also like kind of some mysterious things going on. There's kind of this creature that everybody is scared of there, so they're trying to make sure that they don't get captured by him. And yeah, so the story kind of goes from there. It's really fun and fast-paced, and I really enjoyed it. I also thought this kind of had a cool element because there's a spot in here where the Twin Towers kind of come up, and I thought that was really interesting as well. So yes, definitely check this one out if you are looking for kind of like a fast-paced adventure ghost story. Yeah, that was a really fun one. The last one I want to tell you about is it's called My Plain Jane. So this is part of the Jane trilogy that these 3 authors have written together. So this is the second book, but you can read all of them by themselves because they're not interconnected at all. They don't have the same characters or anything. So this second book is called My Plain Jane, and it's a Jane Eyre retelling, but it's also like a ghost story. So we follow this girl named Jane, and it kind of follows the plot of Jane Eyre, where she is like an orphan and she's living in this orphanage, and she kind of becomes like don't know, one of the like older girls there who kind of takes care of other people, and she has a best friend who's a ghost, and she ends up kind of like meeting this guy, and it kind of goes from there. But there are ghosts in this world, and there's people who kind of like have to catch ghosts, and there's like a haunted bar and stuff, and I thought it was really fun. So if you're looking for another ghost story and you like Jane Eyre, then I would recommend you read this one. So yes, that is all the books I have to recommend for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope if you aren't subscribed already that you will consider doing so. Also like this video, and if you want to, I always leave my links to my Instagram and Twitter down below if you want to go follow me on there, because I post a lot about different books that I'm reading and book reviews and things like that over on my Bookstagram account if you want to go and check that out as well. So until next time, I will see you next week for another video. Bye!